Hi, this is ghbond. Tonight was supposed to be my night off, but a couple things happened that required me to make videos, so I got two videos to do on my night off. First one's on bear markets, and it's for both my RMSL stock people and my PulseChain people. You guys need to check each other's stuff out, especially PulseChain people. RMSL is already starting to rock, and it's not too late for you to get on board. So check that out. They're already making money while you're still waiting on Richard and his developers. So have a look. Anyway, let's get right down to it, and let's talk about bear markets and how they affect what we're doing with our high-risk plays. Okay, first we'll have a little disclaimer. It doesn't matter if it's RMSL or whether it's PulseChain. Of course, you know that this is very high risk, and so be aware that you could lose a lot of your investment here. Should be nothing that you can't afford to lose. It's invested in these. So this is a chart of the S&P 2000 bear market, which is a real bear market, and it's compared to 2022 so far. So take a look. See this spot where the rust-colored lines ends? You are here. That's how far along we are in the bear market. So, you're thinking about, oh, is this the bottom? Maybe this is the buy. And we should buy soon because this is an opportunity to make life-changing wealth by buying the bottom. Maybe, maybe not. So if it is a similar bear market, and we haven't had a reasonable bear market ever since 2008, so count up in your head how many years that is. It's about time we had a decent bear market. Doesn't mean this is one. I'm not calling that this is that kind of bear market, but you're looking at 2 years plus of activity here to get through this bear market. So where are we in terms of price? Okay. We're here, and we need to go down here. So we're about between 1/3 and 1/4. Now, this is an analog. They call this an analog because you're comparing 2000 to 2022. And we're sort of saying, well, it may take a similar path. But I don't think I'm too worried about it taking a similar path. For example, it could be the Fed is turbocharging a move that was already going to happen, and rather than taking 2 years, we're going to be done in less than 1. It's going to take a path down like this. Or it could take longer, but I would be less surprised if it happened sooner. So timing, it could be anywhere in here. The important thing is to realize that as far as depth, it could be less. Instead of at 0.2, at 22% of your wealth left, you may end up with 40% of your wealth from the peak left. Or it could go deeper, okay? It could go down below 20% of your wealth left from the top. That's what these fractions are along the side here. Also, you'll notice, of course, this bear market was a long, drawn-out bear market, but it wasn't all bear market. You might have a couple months, or this one was even like 4 months long, where you have a rally phase. And man, look at that bottom. That had to be the bottom. Or this bottom, look at that. It made a double bottom and then moved on from there. It's a nice W bottom. So you can see yourself all along thinking, oh, yeah, the bear market's over. Wow, I got the bottom. I'm going to be rich. Yep, no, not going to happen. It kept going down and down and down. And so every time it gives you a little bit of hope, it smacks you across the face. I especially remember this part right here towards the end. And that's why I say in the opening of Terminator T2, there's this background where they're showing the machines fighting the humans, and it's like, That's exactly how I felt during this time. It was just bloodletting day after day after day. And then finally it was over. So how do we trade this and how does it affect us in RMSL or PulseChain? Well, both RMSL and PulseChain are special because they're new and a lot of money is flowing into them. So, in general, this bear market isn't going to affect them as much. But you should be aware that the bear market is going to affect them somewhat. And also, you should be watching for the end of the bear market. Now, how do you know when it's the end? Well, you don't. You have to be nimble. When you see this bottom, yeah, go ahead and buy that, but prepared to be ready to back off again when it does this. Same thing here. You get that spike, it's starting to make new highs, get that little dip, you know. Yeah, go ahead and buy that. And then you're waiting, then you get down here and it's like, okay, yep, got to back off again. And probably buy this one, probably here. It makes a new high, great, then down again, and then it's over. So this is a period of 2 years. So if you bought 1, 2, 3, 4 times in 2 years, that's fine. But you can't be proud of your position. You can't be excited that you got the bottom and try and hold on too long. Because let's say you bought this one and you thought you were good. You're still going to lose half your money between here and here. So you have to be flexible and be aware that the bear doesn't always leave when you think he's going to. Now, once we get to the bottom and we start to take off and it starts to put in more and more new highs that are higher than the previous highs, and we can start to add to our position because both with PulseChain and with RMSL, some of the real high velocity movement towards the end of the run will probably happen when this bear market turns around. And I don't care if it's 2 years or 6 months. I know I've heard some people want to consider that, you know, we really started the bear, things started to turn bad back in spring of 2021. So really we're a year into the bear market. Well, maybe, who knows? Just don't think that every little turn in the market is the bottom and we're going up from here, because you can see there are all kinds of nice looking turns that all turned out to be garbage. So that's it for the bear market. You are here. How far down you got to go? You're not down to the bottom yet necessarily. If I had to take a guess, and you know, my guesses are as good as anybody else's, I would say that, you know, we at least have another 20% to go down. So at least down to here. And again, it's going to depend on the Fed, because this is a natural bear market. The Fed can always decide that they want to terminate the bear market early and start pumping with a money printer. So I hope this has been a little bit helpful, give you a little perspective, realize that picking the bottom isn't really a thing. You can trade what looks like a bottom, just be ready to get back out, because if it's a long-term bear market, it's going to be ruthless, prolonged, and difficult. But you can't just sit on your hands for 2 years. So you can trade bottoms and just make sure that you get out. Now, if you get out early and it turns out it really was, you can always get back in. Just don't sit there and let that market slowly drain your cash away. Like if somebody saw that double bottom and bought here, look what happened. You know, I could see myself, oh, it's a double bottom. I could see myself buying right here. Look what happened when it got back to that spot. Brutal, okay? So be careful, be nimble, and enjoy yourself knowing that most of the time RMSL and PulseChain are going to ignore the bad days in the market, because after all, they are new, exciting, and a lot of money's flowing into them. Until next time, this is ghbond saying be careful in the bear, and we'll talk to you next time.